Hi, I'm Robert from Gallant Bullets. I want to take a few minutes today and talk to you about our total polymer jacketed bullet. Some of the questions that we often get are, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a total polymer jacket over that of, say, like a full metal jacket? Some of the advantages of shooting a polymer coated bullet over, say, a full metal jacket bullet is that a polymer coated bullet is going to give you the same performance, but it's going to do so at a significantly better price than you'd get shooting a typical full metal jacketed bullet. What we like about them is that it then allows you to shoot longer, have a more enjoyable time shooting, and ultimately get a better training session while you're having a good time. Some of the nuances that are particular to shooting polymer coated bullets are things like how you bell the case, how you seat the bullet, and then how you check for overall length that works best for your particular barrel. So when we go to reload a bullet, we're going to use the same exact process as we would to make a full metal jacketed bullet with a couple little differences. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to go from start to a finished bullet minus the powder and primer that we'd normally put in. When we're developing a load, I like to actually build a bullet that doesn't have any of that in there, just so that I can go through and I can test my processes and make sure that everything is built the way I want it before I actually commit to making a full finished bullet. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the first station. We're going to size, deprime, then we're going to go to the expansion and powder. You can see there's no powder in this one. From there, we'll go to our sizer and then to our crimp, and I'll explain the process along the way. So the first step is we're going to just size the bullet, and that's going to put us into our expansion chamber. The expansion die is going to be a little bit unique because what's going to happen is we're going to put a little bit more bell on the case than you would get with a full metal jacketed bullet. And the reason for this is because a coated bullet has a slightly lighter coating, and so we want to ensure that it doesn't get scraped off. And so as we run it up, it's going to come through, and it'll go into, we have an empty station right here, but we can actually pull the case out at this point and we can check. And if the bullet actually sits down properly inside of the case, then we know that we have achieved a good amount of bell on the case. And it's going to vary depending on the different types of calibers and sizes that you reload, but generally speaking, that's what you're looking for. So we'll put that back in and we'll send it to our seating station. Once we get into the seating, we're going to actually deal with seating this bullet. Some of the things that you're going to have to be aware of in terms of seating a coated bullet is you're going to want to seat that for the length of barrel that you're going to use. Now, we're going to start with the data that we get out of our reloading manuals or manuals off the internet and places like that, but ultimately we're going to actually adjust that as we move forward. So let's go through. We're going to seat this bullet in here, and from there it's going to go to in our crimp station. Now, I've already set this at a depth that's going to work, but I want to show it to you once we get it out of the machine. Now it's inside the crimp station. The crimp station, all we need to do is put a light crimp on it. It's going to go through, it's going to flatten out the bell, and we're going to then put out a finished bullet. From there, we're going to take the barrel from the gun that we're going to shoot the bullet out of, and we're going to take our loaded bullet. We're going to insert it into the barrel. And the things that we're looking for is, does the bullet properly chamber? You'll know because if you drop the bullet in and then it drops right back out, you've got the head spacing correct. If it doesn't, it generally means that the bullet's been seated too long. Now, when we start from our load manuals, they're going to give us a certain overall length. You'll need to adjust that based on the firearm that you use. In this case, we used a 1.135, but it's going to be different for every gun and every barrel. After we have that finished, what we want to do is pull the bullet. We can use this kinetic hammer. What we're looking for when we pull the bullet is a verification that we've done everything correct along the entire process. If during that process of pulling the bullet, we notice that there is cutting or shearing of the coating, we're going to want to take a step back and reassess our process. We want to take a minute to show you what happens if you improperly bell the case. It's important to get the proper case flare because what happens if you don't get enough, you will tend to shear the coating on the bullet. And you can see this in the examples that we've shown. You're exposing the silver lead ring, and on some of the cases you'll actually see the coating flowing out over the top of the case mouth. If this happens, go back, put more bell into the case, and then start the process over again. One of the other problems we have is people over crimping bullets. When this happens, you will see the case will actually start to cut into the coating. We want to avoid that by simply putting enough crimp on the bullet to allow it to remove the bell from the case and then put tension on the bullet. Finally, we'd like to show you a properly made bullet. This bullet has the flare removed and properly crimped. You can tell this because there is no coating that has been scraped off the side of the bullet, and there is a light ring showing where the crimp was actually applied. Once you've confirmed you have a working load process, you may then proceed to load development, which we won't cover in this video. But if you have any questions, contact us at gallantbullets.com.